There's a moment every man experiences where he starts to feel a woman pulling away. And it's probably happened to you a lot, which is now why you found this video. You found this message just when you needed it, okay? So she was all in at first, right? Calling you her dream guy, sending long messages, laughing at everything you said, right? High level of interest indicators, okay? And then it shifts. Suddenly she's less available, shorter replies, energy feels colder. She's not as warm and sweet. And here's what most men do, right? They panic. They try to fix something that wasn't theirs to fix. They chase, right? But when I finally stopped doing that, when I pulled back and stood still in my frame, that's when everything changed. That's when her true intentions revealed themselves, okay? And I realized you don't need to chase clarity. You create it through your presence and through your standards. Okay, so go ahead and hit subscribe right now if you're tired of second guessing women and if you're ready to lead from strength, not fear. Let me walk you through something that permanently changed how I navigate relationships. So years ago, I was seeing a woman who seemed fully aligned, so it seemed, right? You know how it goes. She was consistent at first. She was affectionate, feminine. We had deep conversations. She even brought up long-term ideas, right? Travel, future plans, all of it. And I'll admit, I leaned into it. I leaned into it. I started reciprocating that energy and, maybe too soon. Over time, I noticed subtle shifts, right? Text replies slowed down. Her energy wasn't as warm. Things, there were fewer compliments that she was giving, less excitement. She was just pulling back, right? She was taking back some of her energy. And I felt that. She didn't disappear, but she was drifting. She was heading in that direction. And that's where most men mess up. And I almost did too. I started initiating more, texting her first, right? Trying to bring back the connection that felt like it was slipping. But then I caught myself, right? I realized I was trying to fix her feelings, and that never works, okay? So I made a decision. I stepped back. I stopped initiating. I let her have the space to show up and come correct or fade. Okay. And it's tough to do that sometimes, especially when you really like a girl. Okay. And she came back gently, receptively. That's when I knew a real connection. It doesn't require convincing. It either flows from mutual alignment or it fades when pressure is removed. Okay. And the masculine leadership isn't about doing more. It's about doing less and commanding more through presence. Okay. And now here's what most men never learn. Masculine polarity isn't loud. It's calm. It's still. And women are emotional, right? And that's not a flaw. It's a part of their design. Okay. And it's your job to not be fazed by anything. Okay. Now, if she's showing up inconsistent often, then we don't want that. Okay. But it's expected for women to be more emotional, right? And what they're looking for isn't a man who reacts when they pull back, right? But a man who remains steady. Okay. Now, if she's, pulling back a little bit in the beginning, sometimes that's okay because maybe she's unsure and she's trying to process things and she doesn't need you to suffocate her. Okay. Because I've done this before. And like I said, it's backfired on me. Okay. But she wants a man who remains steady in her life. When you chase, when you express your feelings, right? When you try to fix what she hasn't even communicated yet, you become ungrounded. And that's where her attraction fades, okay? Not because she stopped liking you, but because she no longer trusts your emotional leadership, right? Pulling back isn't a manipulation tactic. It's what restores your center. It's a signal. It's a signal. I'm not here to entertain confusion. I lead, I invite, and I observe. I don't chase. And the man who embodies that energy becomes magnetic, and she wants to be a part of that because, he's rare. It just doesn't happen a lot these days. And here's a truth few want to say out loud, and that is most women are used to being the prize, right? We know that's how it is. Most guys pedestalize women. but rarely challenged, right? They're used to men who double text, men who apologize for things they didn't even do, men who keep proving their worth instead of just being it, right? Just being and just letting it be, right? So when a man pulls back without spite and without neediness, it disrupts her programming, right? She's not used to it. And if she's genuinely interested, I'm telling you guys right now, that space you create, it pulls her towards you. If she wasn't serious to begin with, that space will expose her, okay? Either way, distance is your ally because it always reveals what's real. You don't need to control anything, right? Just watch how she moves when you stop doing all the work. One of the most damaging habits modern men fall into is becoming emotionally reactive to female behavior. She gets distant, and instead of staying grounded, you start panicking. You start asking, did I upset you? Are we okay? What's going on? Or maybe you send, check-in texts like that. You're interacting with her social media, etc. This might feel caring, but it's weakness in disguise is what it is, okay? And when a woman feels your entire state shift based on her emotions, she no longer sees you as the rock, okay? You become the waves just like her, just like I've said before, You have to be the boat in the ocean. She's the ocean. You cannot let the ocean and the waves capsize the boat, okay? And here's the paradox. The more you try to regulate her emotions, the more out of control she feels, okay? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, you're not her emotional caretaker. Okay. And I know it kind of feels like, I have to kind of see what's going wrong, find out what's going wrong, make sure everything's okay. You got to let her sort that out on her own. Okay. Now, I'm not saying like you shouldn't be empathetic and caring and try to, it's different, right? What I'm talking about here is a very nuanced situation when a woman pulls back, right? When she shows high interest and then she pulls back. Okay. You just got to give her the space that she needs and pace things, right? Do not want to be suffocating. I have done this in the past with women and I was way over the top, and I noticed relationship after relationship failed, and it was a common denominator, and that was because I was too over the top. I didn't give them the space that they needed when they needed that space, okay? You're the grounded masculine energy she's drawn to, and that means when her emotion shifts, you don't chase clarity. You let the situation breathe. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say nothing, okay? Because you lose respect when you try to fix her feelings. If this is resonating with you, drop a comment below. Let me know if you've experienced this shift before. I want to know what's going on in your life. Have you ever pulled back and seen the truth come out? Or did you chase and feel her respect drop? I want to know. All right. Now, here's what you guys got to understand, man. Distance doesn't push women away, okay? It reveals what was already true, all right? Either she'll feel that shift naturally, right? And want to come correct towards you. She's going to feel that void that you create, and she's going to want to come back and earn your validation because she feels that shift and feels like you don't care, right? That's what happens. But you do care. You act like you don't care. Give her that space. She's thinking, he doesn't care. I have to go try to earn his validation and earn his attention, right? Or, if she disappears when you stop texting, that's not lost. That's just clarity, okay? That's fine. If she leans in, if she initiates, softens up a little bit, that's a sign of real feminine energy meeting grounded masculinity, okay? This is where emotional maturity comes in, because a low-value man panics when she pulls away. But a high-value man, he watches, he listens, and he doesn't react emotionally. He moves with purpose. Pulling back isn't about games, it's about standards, okay? And if a woman isn't meeting you at the level you lead from, she's not the one, bro. I'm telling you right now. Let her show up or let her go. You are not here to convince anyone to stay, okay? And that's why you guys cannot care. You must not overinvest because she will lose interest. I'm telling you guys right now. And I'm talking especially in those first few months of dating, right? Especially early on, this is absolutely fatal. That's why you guys have to be busy with your own life, not focusing just on one woman until she proves herself to you and comes correct in her feminine energy and open to receiving and all sweet and all that kind of stuff, okay? And then this doesn't take 1 month. Generally, it doesn't take 2 months. Sometimes it does, but generally it could take at least 3 months, at least 3 to 4 months before, she's showing up consistently, and you should give it time for her to show up consistently, coming correctly. The thing is, you have to give it time to vet these women out, right? Because I've found they can only hide their true colors for about 1 to 3 months max. Usually you'll see the real her exposed in about 1 to 2 months, okay? And sometimes when you start dating these women, you know, they're a little bit more guarded, of course, because she's trying to see, are you going to show up consistently like a real man, okay? You know, it's fucked up on both sides of the equation. I feel like the good guys out there, you know, the select few have a tough time finding the good girls, and, you know, vice versa. It works both ways, right? So they're going to test you just like you should test them, all right? But it's coming from a place of love, just to make sure that this is a good person to be with, all right? Now, I've tried to give women the benefit of the doubt. You know, they look good on paper and even behave properly, but they can switch up quick. And so that's why you can't overinvest in any regard at all too soon, all right? This is not about disliking women. Again, it's not about treating them poorly. Let me reiterate that this applies to about 80 to 85% of women at least, okay? Maybe more, few and far between to, you know, to find one that checks the boxes, so to speak, right? That's just how it is, okay? But they're out there, okay? There's good women out there, but you got to show up as a man and lead, okay? You guys stop chasing these women out here. Focus on you and your life, and you have to stay busy, okay? And don't catch feelings for chicks that you meet in the club. FYI, not a good move, all right? Let me leave you with this right here. There is no peace in chasing someone who's unsure about you, okay? There's no peace in chasing someone who's unsure about you. And there's no power in proving your worth to someone who doesn't value you. They don't even value themselves, okay? Don't prove your power to someone who doesn't even recognize it, okay? Pulling back doesn't mean giving up, all right? It means choosing you over confusion. It means trusting that what's aligned will rise and what isn't will fall away, okay? Your grounded masculine energy is not for everyone, okay? And that's the point. The right woman won't need to be chased. She'll naturally move toward your grounded masculine energy. She'll move toward your leadership because that's what she wants, especially if she's in her healthy feminine energy, okay? If this message hit home, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. This channel exists to help men step into their higher self, man, through emotional leadership, masculine presence, and unshakable standards, because that's what we're all about here at The Ascended Man. And if you want deeper mentorship or coaching, check the description below. My email is in the video description. It's also in my bio. Shoot me a message. And I appreciate you being here, bro. I appreciate you being here. I really do. See you guys later.